Now it's time for our 2-minute drill. And I know this is one that's really coming from producer Jesse as he hides behind the curtains. But producer Jesse wants to know about Drew Allar, and when are we going to see the Drew Allar experience as Sean Clifford in Penn State fall to another top-ranked opponent in Ohio State? Hard-fought game this weekend in Happy Valley. But Drew, now it poses the question, with Penn State sitting at 6-2 and really considerably more than likely out of the Big Ten title race, is it now time to go to the former #1 quarterback prospect in last year's class in Drew Allar?
Well, I think it is. And I think producer Jesse brought up a great point in our pre-production show meeting. You know, I think if Drew Allar gets on the field and people can see what he can do with the football in his hands, that's going to allow or should I say, make Penn State maybe a little bit more attractive to some of the receivers or the tight ends in the transfer portal. And, you know, I think if you're not going to win a Big Ten title, right, I think if you're a Penn State fan, you know, the difference between a 9-3 season, an 8-4 season, and a win or a loss, like it's not much. Like, I think we've gotten to the point where if you're Penn State, you need to turn the page on Sean Clifford. He has done so much for the program, but let's not forget, Sean Clifford is also the same age as Mac Jones, who's in year 2 of the NFL, Tua Tagovailoa, who's year 2 of the NFL. Like, I remember all those guys being at the same camps together. So at some point, start thinking towards the future. And I think for Penn State, that would be to get Drew Allar some live reps and start preparing for the class or for 2023. So I'm all for getting Drew Allar out there. I think it allows, again, for everyone in that locker room, you know, the recruit situation, the transfer portal situation, everyone to get a sense of what they have here over the next 5 weeks or so, and then go from there.
Well, you mentioned the locker room, Drew, and listen, I think the logic makes a lot of sense between you and producer Jesse in terms of what you want to see. And with my past experience on the personnel side, there were some situations where we saw this, where there was a young up-and-coming prospect that we really liked, and basically the end goal for the season was not attainable anymore. But I think what comes into play is, and we've seen this from James Franklin earlier in the season, a reluctancy to make that move to Drew Allar because of the type of confidence that he has in the player and the loyalty that he has to the player. And how does that impact the locker room from a psychological standpoint? So I think Sean Clifford will get the benefit of the doubt here. Now, in terms of building for the future, I think it makes sense. And it just depends on how you run your business. How does James Franklin see this from 30,000 feet? And what is the value of a decision like this and the risk versus reward? So we'll see that for Penn State. They end the season on the road at Indiana, as you see right there. Also Maryland as well, and a couple more Big Ten games on the schedule.